house in this world is extremely hard. Hello everyone, I'm J Mere and welcome to my review of A Quiet Place Day 1. Yes, a new horror movie hits theaters. And this is one from a horror franchise, a recent horror franchise that I really admire. And this is the third film in the A Quiet Place franchise. It's not the third part. We're still going to see A Quiet Place Part 3 in the near future somehow. This is not a continuation of our story that we got in A Quiet Place Part 1 and Part 2. Because in those two movies, we are really focusing on a certain family, how they are living, how they are dealing with the new world, that are mostly inhabited by these very dangerous, monstrous-like aliens that come to every sound they hear and kill you in an instant. And in those movies, we are already in the future from this new movie. Yeah, I think we have like 430 days or something like that after the arrival of the aliens. And it was always going to be interesting to see how it all started. And that is what A Quiet Place Day 1 is about. In Day 1 we're gonna see the start of the apocalypse. And I always like movies in which the apocalypse is shown. And this is one of my most anticipated movies of the year. It was in my top 10 of the most anticipated top 10 video I did in January this year. And like I said, I really love this horror franchise. A Quiet Place, the first movie, was one of the best cinema experiences that I ever had. Part 2 was almost equally as good, very interesting movie. And now we are going back to how it all started, and that was a great premise of a story. And this movie is directed by Michael Samorsky. I think he's a very new director. He did not really make a lot of movies. I know him from the movie Pig, a movie that came out 3 years ago. It's a Nicolas Cage movie about guys that take his pig and he wants to do a little revenge. A very interesting movie. Not a movie I was expecting. And I was actually very I was very surprised that they picked this guy to make this movie, to make A Quiet Place movie. And I think I read in an interview that he wanted to make something different of A Quiet Place. Less horror, more drama. And I did not know if I had to worry about that article, but I have seen the movie now and I think that the movie is pretty good. It's a very cool movie. It's definitely fit in the A Quiet Place franchise. I still like the first two movies a bit more because the pacing there is a bit better. This is a bit slower than the first two. Not gonna say it's a slow burn. The movie takes its pace, but it's not as fast as the first two movies. And this movie has an entire new cast. We have Lupita Nyong'o. She plays our main character. And then we have also Joseph Quinn is in the movie, Alex Wolff, and also Jimon Honsu. The only character from the second movie that is returning. He was there in New York, where it's taking place, when the apocalypse started. And I really like these characters. We really follow Sam and Eric, our main characters, and a cat. This cat is also a very prominent role in this movie, and that's also very interesting. Let's talk a bit about the cat, because I think the cat was essential to have in this movie, because we root differently for animals than for humans, and because there is this cat, this pet animal that is constantly following our two main characters, I really was hoping that the cat was going to survive. I'm not going to tell you if the cat survived or not, you have to check out the movie for that, but that made the movie more intense for me, because you have this cat. But don't get me wrong, Sam and Eric are still very cool characters, interesting characters. They are just normal characters. They are basically characters like you and me, and that's very important. They are characters that you love to follow as well, because that's important. You need to have interesting characters to root for and follow. And I think the whole concept of the day one is worked out perfectly. You see the arrival of the aliens, you see they are figuring out what is going on, what are these monsters, what we need to do to survive. And this is not just a survival movie. And now I'm coming back to our director, the director that says it was more gonna be a drama movie. And this is taking place now. We see how these characters are trying to survive this world, trying to go to an evacuation point to get away from the city, away from the danger. But while they are doing all this surviving of the things, they are also reflecting on their lives and the meaning of life, what it is worth to live. They are going back to things of the past. Like our main character Sam, at first she has not really the urge or the desire to get evacuated. No, at the start of the movie, even before the aliens come, she just wanted to go to a place to remember her father, and that is basically her goal in the entire movie. And at first I thought this was a bit of a strange decision to make that the goal of our protagonists, instead of the survival, instead of being evacuated to a safe space. But it also makes sense in the movie, and as long as the movie goes on, it actually is very interesting to see, and you're actually really supporting for her to reach that goal. So that's very interesting. And I'm always happy to see Joseph Quinn somewhere. He was a very important part of that very cool season 4 of Stranger Things. So since then I'm a really Joseph Quinn fan. And the horror, it's more drama focused, but the horror is still there. There are some really intense scenes in this movie, and that's why I love these A Quiet Place movies, and it really delivers in that. So all in all, I'm actually very pleased with this movie. It's everything I expected it to be. The only negative I have is a bit of the title. The title says Day 1. And with that title, I expected it that the movie was going to take place on the first day. And then we're really going to see the first attack and all the survival on that first attack. And I kind of missed that. I expected it a bit more chaos in the beginning of the movie than we got in this film. So that's a little issue I had. Maybe they should have called the movie A Quiet Place First Days or something like that. But all in all, like I said, it's a very cool movie. It's maybe one of the best movies of 2024. We're gonna see if it's gonna make my list at the end of the year, but I definitely recommend this. If you love the first two movies like I did, you might gonna love this one as well. So those were my thoughts on A Quiet Place Day 1. Always be free to share your thoughts below in the comments. Would love to read those. And if you want to see more reviews of me in the future, always be free to subscribe to my channel. Until the next time.